Right now at 8, wildfires in Canada continuing to affect the air quality this weekend. What you should know before you head outside. But first, Jacob is in this morning tracking out our local forecast with that smoke as we finish out the month of May. Then later, some news out of the White House. President Trump making moves on steel tariffs, and Elon Musk departs back to the private sector. This is Weekend Mornings, and we thank you for joining us. I'm Kyle Pazorski here on this Saturday, May 31st. Actor Clint Eastwood turns 95 today. And let's start with a look at the first warm forecast. Jacob Montesano has that. Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning, Kyle. It's going to be a pretty good weekend outside of the fact that we still might see some minor wildfire smoke across the area, but temperatures are going to be very nice and we'll see plenty of sunshine. So right now, mostly in the 50s, still a few areas hanging on to the 40s, already in the 60s further west in portions of Minnesota and Iowa. And we're also seeing some pretty calm winds, and the winds for the most part going to remain calm throughout the weekend. But as we look at the wildfire smoke, still seeing some of that smoke kind of linger across our area. Now for Madison and areas to the east, it will get better throughout the day. Actually might get a little bit worse for places off to the west, especially further west in Minnesota and Iowa. And as we get into Sunday, some of that wildfire smoke could creep in to Madison, but it looks like it'll mostly stay by you folks near the Mississippi River. So again, still going to be dealing with a little bit of low air quality, although at least for right now, the state of Wisconsin no longer under an air quality alert. Now, taking a look at the cloud cover forecast, we're not going to see much. Really, the only thing in the sky will be the wildfire smoke, as we'll see plenty of sunshine and temperatures, as I mentioned, very mild. We'll see highs back into the middle and lower 70s. We also will see the calm winds throughout the day, so it's going to feel even warmer. And for you folks in Lacrosse, it actually will be warmer with highs in the upper 70s. But I'll talk more in detail about an even warmer forecast for early next week coming up a little bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Now, topping our news this hour, as Jacob mentioned, smoke from wildfires burning in Canada are continuing to affect our air quality. We're going to take a look at this video from Manitoba, where about 430,000 acres have burned since last Sunday. This is equivalent to an area twice the size of New York City. The fires are producing a large smoke plume that on Thursday covered over 500,000 square miles. The smoke is expected to spread into the upper Midwest and Great Lakes throughout the rest of this region. Here locally, a man who disappeared after leaving a Madison hospital last week is now at the center of an arson investigation. Police say 53-year-old Vince Hillstead was last seen on May 22nd, shortly after being discharged from the emergency room at Meriter Hospital. A week later, Hillstead has been located and arrested. He is being held on pending arson charges tied to a fire on Blossom Lane. That fire was reported this past Tuesday. 5 people have been displaced with around $100,000 in damages. Nurses and management at Madison's Meriter Hospital returned to negotiations Friday after talks stalled Thursday without a deal. On the 4th day of the strike, nurses marched from the hospital to the state capitol building, where they shared the latest updates on the ongoing bargaining efforts.
Ultimately, management showed movement in staffing and security that we have not seen so far. While we're not done yet, we can't underscore enough how big of a step forward it is, and we're having these discussions for the first time.
Now, as the strike continues, some patients have told News 3 Now they've noticed a decline in care at the hospital. Meriter responded by saying they have not received any formal patient complaints and denied that hospital operations are being disrupted. Today is the planned final day of striking. It'll be a $1 million cash bond for the suspect in an attempted Lacrosse homicide. 28-year-old Deontay Booth appeared in Lacrosse County Court Friday. He is accused of shooting his ex-girlfriend in the face. Police found him at a hotel this past Thursday. He is now charged with intentional first-degree homicide. Take a live look now at the White House in our nation's capital. Yesterday, President Trump traveled to Pennsylvania looking to tout a plan that he says will preserve U.S. steel production and thousands of jobs. But some critics warn it could also raise prices on a key commodity. Steel, as you know, is used in everything from buildings to cars to appliances and, of course, weapons. The president says domestic production is critical to U.S. national security. Now, all this as he's promising new tariffs, hoping to keep American plants fired up. CBS's Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
In front of a crowd of Pennsylvania steelworkers wearing hard hats, President Trump announced a hard hit to steel imports.
We're going to bring it from 25% to 50% the tariffs on steel into the United States of America, which will even further secure the steel industry.
Trump toured the U.S. Steel facility in Pittsburgh after announcing he'll allow Japan's Nippon to invest and partially own the company. A $15 billion bid by Nippon was blocked by the Biden administration, but Trump says with this deal, U.S. Steel will still be under U.S. control.
I have no doubt that Nippon and Dave and everybody else, we're all working together, and I'm going to be in Washington. I'm going to be watching over it, and it's going to be great.
Earlier in the Oval Office, Trump bid farewell to Elon Musk.
Thank you, Elon.
Giving him a gold key for leading the administration's Department of Government Efficiency. Musk has spearheaded cuts of tens of thousands of government jobs. His own role as a special government employee limited by law to 130 days, though the president said he could continue unofficially.
Elon's really not leaving. He's going to be back and forth, I think. I have a feeling it's his baby.
So I look forward to continuing to be a friend and advisor to the president.
Musk says Doge has saved the federal government more than $160 billion, far short of the $2 trillion he initially predicted. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
President Trump also said yesterday his administration is close to brokering a deal to end the war in Gaza. The White House says Israel backs the deal for a 60-day ceasefire, but Hamas has yet to sign off on that. Now taking a look at Wall Street, despite an up and down day on Friday, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ both ended May with their best performances for a month since 2023. The Dow up 54 points, NASDAQ dropped 62, the S&P lost half a point. Next, a consumer alert. It might be time to check your pantry. Hormel Foods Corporation is recalling more than 256,000 pounds of canned beef stew products. According to the USDA, the 20-ounce metal cans of Dinty Moore beef stew may be contaminated with wood. The product was produced on February 4th of this year with a best by date of February 2028. The items were shipped to retailers nationwide. On to more local news, the Progress Pride flag is now flying over the Wisconsin State Capitol as Pride Month begins tomorrow. Governor Evers ordered it be raised for the 7th year in a row, and this year also marks a decade now since same-sex marriage was legalized, though it is still not recognized in Wisconsin's Constitution.
No matter who you are, what you believe, who you love, or how you express your truest, most authentic self, you are family here, you belong here, and you are welcome home here.
Previously on Thursday, Wisconsin's LGBTQ+ caucus introduced an amendment to recognize same-sex marriage. It must pass twice to reach the ballot. The Wisconsin Elections Commission says communities with less than 7,500 people can hand count ballots. The decision came in reaction to a complaint against the northwestern Wisconsin town of Thornapple, population about 700, which decided to hand count ballots in the April 2024 presidential primary or the August state primary. The decision also comes as a federal lawsuit over Thornapple's decision not to have an accessible voting machine continues. Despite the decision, all Wisconsin towns, villages, and cities must still comply with federal law and provide at least one electronic voting machine at a polling location to accommodate voters with disabilities. In Milwaukee, the Maxwell Anderson trial is continuing after 1 week in court. Anderson is, of course, accused of killing Sadie Robinson in April 2024, scattering her remains and burning her car. Yesterday, prosecutors showed surveillance video of the car fire and a person leaving the scene, which defense argues is not credible.
In all the videos of the car that you've watched, who's driving the car? Can you see?
You cannot see who's driving, no.
Can you see a gender of a person?
No.
So then I'm assuming you can't tell the race of the person in the videos you've watched?
The trial is expected to wrap up at the end of next week. Staying in southern Wisconsin, well, the saying goes, it takes a village. And the village is just what one Beaver Dam woman found when her business burned to the ground. Our Ellie La Liberté reports that she's working to rebuild it, and she's not alone.
This is what I love to do.
For Amy Bader, her business is her life.
We manufacture ceramics, and then we just have a classroom where people come in and they sit down and paint.
Country Barn Ceramics has been around for a while.
Since 2006.
But in February, her life went up in smoke.
It went fast. From the time I called the fire department to the time they got here, there was no saving it.
Now, every day since,
it's just such a big loss.
She's burying that loss.
It's been a lot of work. And just being home every day and seeing it, it just hurts a little. I mean, this was our livelihood.
Amy estimates it will cost $200,000 to get that livelihood back.
Until we get it back up and running, you know, there's no paycheck for me.
But Amy has the support.
We're kind of like sisters.
Of friends like Roxanne Sales.
I knew I had to have a plan. I had to have an idea what we're gonna do.
But also of neighbors. Over in Portage, word spread of Amy's loss. And on Saturday, there's a meat raffle and fundraiser set up.
This was my retirement.
To help her get that back.
It's nice knowing that there's good people out there that do care.
And although Amy says she doesn't like asking for help, she's happy to have it.
Wasn't expecting it at all.
Reporting in Beaver Dam, Ellie La Liberté, News 3 Now.
And Ellie, thank you. If you would like to help out, the fundraiser will take place at the clubhouse at Saddle Ridge in Portage today at 1 p.m. Time now 8:10, still ahead. Your weekend planner with some fun taking place and a way to get some gently used furniture while helping community initiatives. But first, Jacob will be back with a full look of your Saturday forecast. That's next here on Weekend Mornings.
Good morning, everybody. Here's a look at the 3 things you need to know. We are going to see pretty good conditions this weekend, really outside of the lingering wildfire smoke. It'll be about a perfect weekend. It'll then warm up a lot for Monday, and then we are going to see some storms return by the time we get to later in the day on Tuesday. So looking at today's forecast, plenty of sunshine, highs in the middle to upper 70s for areas to the west, middle to lower 70s for Madison and places to the east. May only stay in the upper 60s for the eastern portion of our area, as Milwaukee may only stay in the upper 50s, but it will still be very nice nonetheless. Now we're going to continue to see clear skies for your Sunday. We'll have highs possibly in the lower 80s for locations near the Mississippi River. Likely going to stay in the middle to upper 70s for Madison and areas to the east, but in general, everyone will see temperatures warmer compared to today. And then for Monday, it'll be warmer compared to Sunday, as highs could hit the upper 80s to lower 90s for a few locations. Starting to get into that range where the heat might be a tad bit dangerous for those that plan on spending most of Monday outside. Just be aware, it'll mostly be in the afternoon hours. You know, once we get to the evening and the sun begins to set, it will be a lot better. Now, as we take a look at the next chance of rain, we'll see clouds develop overnight Monday, which will create some very mild lows Tuesday morning. And then as we get towards Tuesday afternoon, we'll see some of those showers and thunderstorms move into the area, but especially towards Tuesday evening, that's the best chance to see the storms, as we'll see likely a line of these showers and storms move through, really cooling the temperatures down on the back end of it, as some of the rain will continue overnight, but most of it will clear out by early Wednesday. Now, as far as the amount of rainfall, we'll see from this about a ½ inch to a full inch of rain. And although we certainly aren't too concerned about the drought, we do have some areas still dealing with the drought, so we'll take any rain that we could get. Now, looking at the temperatures, as I mentioned, they will cool down after those storms roll through. Highs will be in the middle to lower 70s, so still very comfortable. If anything, it'll actually be a little bit better towards the middle of the week, as Monday might get a little bit too hot, especially during those afternoon hours. But overall, it's going to be very comfortable going forward towards the end of the 10-day forecast. We're going to have highs in the middle to upper 70s with partly sunny skies for the most part. We do have a few other chances of rain, specifically Thursday, maybe towards the end of next weekend as well. But right now, the only very good chance of rain will be Tuesday evening and Tuesday night. So almost a perfect weekend. Again, outside of the wildfire smoke, that's really the only blemish in the forecast. Pretty hot for Monday. Definitely going to be one of the hottest days, if not the hottest day of the year. Storms Tuesday, cooling things down, but still being very comfortable towards the middle and end of next week.
All right, Jacob, thank you. If you are looking for gently used home goods like furniture and home decor, well, we have the perfect event for you this weekend. It's the famous attic sale hosted by Attic Angels taking place today. This year, the sale focuses on efforts to address food insecurity for families with children and older adults. The sale takes place at the Kiva Sports Center in Middleton. Again, this is running today from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. with free admission all day. Proceeds from the event support Attic Angels community initiatives. Next this morning on the Health Watch, the foods we eat which contain the most salt, plus the dangers of most alcohol that people aren't aware of. Michael George has the week's top health stories.
Most Americans have no idea that alcohol is linked to an increased risk of cancer. A study by the University of Texas found nearly 60% of adults were unaware or uncertain of the link between the two. An estimated 75,000 cancer cases every year are associated with alcohol. And the study's authors say more needs to be done to raise public awareness. Which foods are to blame for our high consumption of salt? A survey by the American Heart Association found pizza, soup, and chicken are the main sources of sodium for most Americans. The survey also found sodium use varies by race and ethnicity, with Asian Americans most likely to add salt during cooking, and Black adults most likely to try and reduce their salt intake. New research shows humans are seasonal creatures, and our health is influenced by the changes in those seasons. A study by the University of Michigan found the amount of sunlight we get influences us, from our moods to our sleep schedules and circadian rhythms. Sunlight exposure could also impact our metabolism and cardiovascular health as well. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Michael George, CBS News.
And coming up now on 8:20 still ahead, got some entertainment news with Taylor Swift buying back the entirety of her catalog. Plus, as we always do, Will Oper brings us some of the best things to stream. That's still ahead here on Weekend Mornings.
Good morning, everybody. Let's take a look at the precipitation that we've seen so far this month compared to normal. We have had a little bit above the normal amount for the month of May, but for the entire year, we are still about 1.5 inches behind normal, and this is obviously just the case for Madison. Now, because we have continued to see, periods of dry weather at times throughout the spring, we have had some drought conditions form, especially in far southern Wisconsin near the Illinois border. Now, the good news is that we are going to see a very good chance of rain for Tuesday, later in the day into Tuesday night, and this will be the case for everybody. And we also have some small precipitation chances towards the end of next week. And looking beyond the 10-day forecast, the 8 to 14-day precipitation outlook does suggest that we'll see slightly above average precipitation. So the bottom line with all this is that we're not really too concerned about drought conditions for getting worse, even though we are seeing some of it right now in southern Wisconsin.
Yeah. Good things to know. Thank you, Jacob. Well, in entertainment news, Grammy Award-winning singer Taylor Swift now owns her entire music catalog. Swift made the announcement on her website yesterday. The 35-year-old has been in a battle for roughly 6 years to buy back the master recordings after her former record label sold them to Shamrock Capital. Swift now has the rights to all her music videos, concert films, album art, and unreleased songs. Actress Loretta Swit has died. Swit was best known for her role as Hot Lips Julianne in the 1970s era TV series MASH. She won 2 Emmy Awards for that role. Swit's publicist says she died Friday morning, likely of natural causes, at home in New York City. She was 87 years old. There is no shortage of films and shows streaming these days. Will Oper shares a few of the best in this weekend's 3 Things to Watch.
I hope you rich folks don't mind slumming it in the humble abode of the poorest billionaire in the gang. But this is exactly why I built Mountain Head.
Watch a film satirize the wealthy in Mountain Head, newly streaming on Max.
Guys,
Is this on every channel?
there have been a number of occurrences since your launch.
UN officials are now openly attributing the recent uptick in ethnic tension to powerful new generative AI tools unveiled last week on Tram.
Steve Carell, Jason Schwartzman, and more star as billionaire friends who get together amidst unfolding technological turmoil.
This does not look like somebody who should have the keys to America.
Burglary gone wrong is quickly falling out of the lead for me. Oh, that's a selfie.
Replaced by...
Someone staged this.
Go on a series of twists and turns in The Better Sister, newly streaming on Amazon Prime Video.
The world knowing you stole your sister's life. Oh my God, this is everywhere. At least it's a good photo of us.
The show stars Elizabeth Banks and Jessica Biel as feuding sisters brought back together by a murder.
Be careful. There's still a killer out there.
Okay, everybody huddle up. We are in the roast chicken phase of life.
And experience the angst of living in your 20s with adults. Newly streaming on Hulu.
Always thought the world was going to be waiting for me, and instead, everyone's annoyed that I'm here.
The show follows 5 friends living together, learning to tackle all the responsibilities of adulthood.
Kelly? Yeah, I'm gonna be camera off today. Yeah, I'm in the office. Yeah. There's just some construction in my cubicle.
Those are the 3 things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for Weekend Mornings.
And there's still a half hour of news to go here in your Saturday morning. Next, we're running through the day's top headlines. Stick with us. This is Weekend Mornings. It's 8:30 right now. President Trump's mass firings will remain on hold, plus a rally with steel workers. We got the details this half hour and the latest from the White House. Plus, wildfires in Canada continuing to have an effect on our air quality this weekend. How it can impact your health is coming up. This is Weekend Mornings, and once again, we do thank you for joining us. I'm Kyle Pazorski here on this Saturday, May 31st. And let's get to today's forecast. Jacob Montesano standing by as always. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Kyle, temperatures this weekend going to be very, very nice. Looking at the current temperatures, already starting to warm up in some places, already in the lower 60s at this hour, middle 60s further west for portions of Minnesota and Iowa. Now, looking at the current radar, not seeing anything, and we're barely going to see any clouds today. I mean, it's going to be just about a perfect forecast, with the exception of the wildfire smoke that may linger across the area, but plenty of sunshine, highs in the upper 60s to lower 70s, very calm wind. The temperatures may feel even a bit warmer with the fact that the wind won't really be a factor at all. Now, looking at Lacrosse, you folks will be even warmer. Upper 70s are possible, maybe even some lower 80s, and it is more likely to get into the lower 80s the further west you're located. Now, areas east of Madison may only see highs in the upper 60s, but still very comfortable, as Milwaukee may only see highs in the upper 50s. So again, a little bit cooler the further east you are, but in general, I mean, it's going to be a very, very nice day, and clear skies will continue overnight, which will allow temperatures to possibly drop into the middle and lower 40s, maybe even some patchy frost for areas in central Wisconsin, but those of you who are new to the Mississippi River and southern Wisconsin, not as concerned about that. Now, temperatures are going to continue to warm up for early next week, and I'll track that and our next chance of rain coming up a little bit later.
Have you spent any times outside lately? Because yesterday, it was really noticeable, that smoke up in the atmosphere, just kind of hazy in the sky. Should have been like a blue sky yesterday, but it just wasn't.
Yeah, no, I made sure to spend most of the day inside, but I had the blinds open, not the window, and I could see it like turned from blue to like gray to then it kind of got dark as some of the rain kind of moved in. So, but no, I did not spend any time outside.
Yeah, well, hopefully it clears out and hopefully those wildfires calm down in Canada.
It will be better today, but it may return, eventually as the summer's just kind of starting.
Yep. All right, Jacob, thank you. On to some news this hour. A federal appeals court ruled Friday that President Trump's mass firings at several agencies will remain on hold. In the ruling, the court said the Trump executive order at issue exceeds the president's power under the Constitution. The court also wrote the challengers were likely to succeed on the merits of their arguments that the layoffs were unsuccessful. The case was brought by federal employees unions and local government groups. And the president holding a rally at a Pittsburgh steel mill Friday, this coming a week after he announced a planned partnership between U.S. Steel and its Japanese competitor Nippon Steel. During his remarks, the president announced that he would be doubling tariffs on steel to 50%.
For 40 years, I didn't understand why people weren't in this country using tariffs. They use tariffs to kill us. They use tariffs to take our businesses, not only steel, other businesses too. And we never knew how to use tariffs back because we had people in the White House that either didn't care or weren't very smart or both. And it really starts with the White House. It's very simple. It starts with the White House.
Trump also said he was considering a 40% tariff, but industry executives told him they wanted a 50% one. Well, in all of this, as the Trump administration is now threatening to cut federal funding to several areas across the country, including Dane County, for allegedly violating immigration laws. A list on the Department of Homeland Security's website names Madison and Dane County as sanctuary jurisdictions. On April 28th, an executive order signed on April 28th defines that those places that hinder federal immigration enforcement are part of Dane and Madison areas. The administration says those areas could lose federal support. And Dane County Executive Melissa Agard is responding. A statement from her office reads in part, quote, "We deny any connotation that our Dane County government is out of compliance with federal statutes." And she continues, "It is appalling that the Trump administration is threatening to cut funding and support for the 600,000 residents who call Dane County home without merit." All right, staying local, the Iowa County Sheriff's Office is reporting the death of a 77-year-old following an ATV accident. It happened just southeast of Mineral Point on County Line Road in the town of Waldwick. Sheriff's deputies say Dennis McCarville of Mineral Point was spraying weeds on a steep hillside when the ATV rolled over and ended on top of him. As we mentioned earlier, smoke from Canadian wildfires are continuing to drift south, bringing unhealthy air quality to parts of Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Michigan. Along with hazy skies, the smoke can impact your health. Common symptoms include itchy, watery eyes, nasal congestion, a scratchy throat, and coughing. While anyone can experience these symptoms alone, some people are more vulnerable than others.
These folks who have asthma or other lung diseases have a lot of inflammation already in their lungs, and these fine particulates make that inflammation worse, causing more obstruction of the airways and then clamping down on the muscles around the airways and can even precipitate asthma attacks during these periods of time.
Now, if that's you or your child, UW Health recommends spending time inside with the windows closed like me and Jacob were yesterday and the air conditioning on if possible. Well, News 3 Now and SSM Health's Time for Kids digital playbook campaign is continuing, helping families navigate the digital world. In the coming weeks, we will highlight our device guide, starting with why balance is important. Balancing screen time and real life is crucial these days. While technology offers many benefits, doctors warn too much screen time can cause eye strain, headaches, and increase anxiety and depression risks, especially for kids. SSM Health's Dr. Christopher Harkin recommends setting aside time for face-to-face family moments.
When we are looking at our screen so much, we forget to communicate with each other. And so I think the balance thing is, hey, it's summer. Let's get outside. We've been inside all winter long. Let's get out there and enjoy ourselves.
Dr. Harkin suggests encouraging screen-free activities and making places like the dinner table screen-free to stay connected with family. You can start the conversation with our Time for Kids digital agreement. It has 6 sections that you can review and have your kids sign as a family. You can find it by searching Time for Kids on channel3000.com. Looking north to the Cooley region, Toma Health broke ground Friday morning on a major hospital expansion. The project will add about 9,500 square feet to the current hospital on Gopher Drive in Toma. The new facility is set to include a conference room and simulation lab.
Quite frankly, in certain departments, outgrown our space. And in order to further enhance clinical services and expand in areas that are core to the building, we need to shift some things out of the main buildings.
Non-clinical offices will be relocated to a new addition, and it's expected to be completed in about 10 months. Time now is 8:37, still ahead. Got a story of a local senior spreading kindness, one brush stroke at a time. Plus, here's a look at today's day in history.
Now, as we look at the current air quality alerts, there are currently none of them in effect across Wisconsin. But you can see the UP of Michigan, all of Minnesota, they are still under the air quality alerts. And just because we're not, it doesn't mean we're not going to see relatively low air quality. Now, right now, we're mostly at moderate to good levels, so it has improved from yesterday. But checking out the wildfire smoke forecast, it is going to get better for Madison and areas to the east, but it actually may get a little bit worse compared to right now, I should say, not compared to yesterday, for areas west of Madison near the Mississippi River, as places off to the west will just kind of see that smoke linger around, especially out in Iowa and Minnesota, where, as I mentioned, all of Minnesota has that air quality alert still in effect. Still going to see that impact the area, so we still could see some of that lower air quality creep into the area. And this may continue throughout the weekend, which, as I've been talking about, is really the only blemish in the forecast, as temperatures and sunshine going to be very good.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Next this morning, a fun story. As high school seniors get ready to graduate, it's a time for friends and family to look back on all the memories. But for one Waunakee student, she's hoping a final act of kindness will leave a lasting impression. Chris Stanford reports.
High school can be hard, especially for students like Molly Schaefer.
I've kind of gone all throughout high school not having many friends.
Without a social network to share her feelings with, she put brush to canvas.
It gave me an outlet for, my emotions. Anything I didn't know how to express into words. Words are hard.
Luckily for Molly, kindness comes easy. The self-proclaimed loner painted a portrait of one of the popular kids as a gift.
I thought it was so cool. I just feel appreciated by somebody else, that they took the time out of their day to do that. It's just really cool, really awesome to see.
But it wasn't just Brady. Molly painted 44 of her classmates. She estimates it took her about 600 hours, time she spent hiding in her makeshift studio in the corner of the library, working toward her goal.
I wanted to be seen. I wanted to kind of reconnect with these people who I haven't talked to in years, and I wanted to, show them that even though they've been such a small part of my life, they've stuck with me and are what's inspired this.
Her support group, including her art teacher, couldn't be prouder.
Watching her go through that process and seeing her do that internal reflection about this project that she came up with, it really fills your heart.
Molly has a story for each of the students she painted.
We watched a movie and we went ice skating.
A moment of kindness that stuck with her.
She was at my first ever birthday party in 4th grade, and she gave me this blanket, and I still have it, and it's still in my room.
There's no resentment or bitterness for her classmates.
He'd be laughing along with me, and that would just make me laugh even more.
Just inspiration and gratitude.
I just really want to say just how incredible and nice of a guy he is.
Just what she needed for her senior masterpiece to leave a lasting impression.
If people were to see me in 10 years, I just want to be remembered as the person who painted that painting that's on their mom's wall, or something just really simple like that. It doesn't have to be a lot. I just hope they're happy.
In Waunakee, Chris Stanford, News 3 Now.
And since Molly gifted these students their portraits, dozens of other students have requested one, so Molly will have her hands full this summer. It's 8:44, still to come here on Weekend Mornings. Zach will check in with your Friday sports highlights. Plus, Jacob has a final full check of the first warm forecast. That's next on Weekend Mornings.
Good morning, everybody. Here's a final look at the 3 things you need to know. It's going to be very nice over the weekend with the exception of the wildfire smoke. And then we are going to see those temperatures continue warming up for Monday, with storms returning later in the day Tuesday. So for today, definitely I would say enjoy the weather. Most times you see sunny skies and 70s in the forecast, but just be aware of that low air quality. Overall, though, it is going to be better compared to yesterday. A little bit cooler the further east you go, and warmer as you go further west near the Mississippi River. Now for tonight, the clear sky skies will continue, which will allow temperatures to drop into the middle to lower 40s for some areas. But other places, again, near the Mississippi River, lows will be around 50. Could even see some patchy frost in central Wisconsin, but most of the area shouldn't be too concerned about that. Now, temperatures will continue warming up for Sunday. Upper 70s to lower 80s are in your forecast. Again, just be aware the air quality might be a little bit low, but it shouldn't be as bad as it was yesterday. Now, as we get a look at Monday, those temperatures are just going to continue warming up, and by the time we get to Monday afternoon, it may actually be just a little bit too warm to the point where if you spend a long period of time outside, it may get a little bit on the dangerous side. So just be aware of that, as temperatures are going to probably be the warmest they have been all year, as some areas could flirt with lower 90s. Now, taking a look at our next chance of rain, clouds will increase at Monday night, which will lead to very mild lows Tuesday morning, where we may not even drop into the middle 60s. So as we get into the afternoon hours, we'll see more consistent showers and storms move through, but the best chance of rain will be Tuesday evening into overnight, where we'll see this line of showers and thunderstorms roll through the area and continue for a few hours for each individual location. By the time we get to Wednesday morning, though, we are going to see that rain clear out. Now, the amount of precipitation that's expected, we'll see about a ½ inch to a full inch of rainfall, depending on where some of the heavier bands of precipitation fall. But in general, we'll definitely take the rain that we can get. Not going to see a massive amount, just a nice, good rainfall that, parts of the area really need. Now, after the rainfall, temperatures will cool down quite a bit, although honestly, they'll probably be better compared to Monday, as Monday will be pretty hot at points. We'll see highs in the middle to lower 70s, possibly back to the lower 80s by next weekend. And during that time frame, we also will see a few small chances of rain. The best chance after Tuesday right now does look to be Thursday, but we could see some rain chances for next weekend as well. But overall, temperatures remaining comfortable, and we're starting to get to the time of the year where we kind of want to have temperatures on the cooler side. Like, obviously, I'm aware people, really enjoy highs in the 80s, but obviously you're getting to that point where, especially on Monday, we might see, the heat index values get into the middle 90s. So obviously temperatures near normal, which is what we're going to see today and for the middle of next week, those temperatures are very close to perfect for most. So overall, we're not really going to be seeing any days like we saw earlier Wednesday where, the high temperatures barely reach 60. We're going to easily get to the 70s just about every day.
The MFM Championship is 6 days away, and nobody is probably more excited than Steve Stricker. The tournament's player host gets to show off his course, TPC Wisconsin, as he tries to win his second title in the last 3 years. Now, the challenge for Strick is to get back in the swing of things, because he's only played in 3 tournaments this year because he's been on the injured front battling a shoulder and neck injury.
I didn't play very well the last couple weeks, but it was good to get out there for a change, to test things out, and I continue to, try to get better. You just play golf for all these years, it's bound to take a toll. So, yeah, I'm not where I really want to be with my game or my health, really, but I'm super excited about next week and the opportunity to play with Mario and to be here at TPC Wisconsin.
Division I sectional track. Top 3 qualify for state in D1. We'll start with the girls, and Verona's Izzy DeCabiter takes home the 1600 title in just under 5 minutes and 12 seconds. Her teammate and future Wisconsin Badger, Nicole Repka, is heading back to Lacrosse to defend her 400 title after winning it in 55.85 seconds. On the boys' side, Wanakee had the need for speed. The Warriors won both the 4x1 and 4x2 relays. And in the 800, it was Madison West Mason Brocish finishing first in 1:54.98. The state meet is next Friday. Brewers opening up a 3-game series with the Phillies, and cue that Rocky theme music because Christian Yelich was swinging like Sylvester Stallone. First pitch he sees in the 5th, Yelich goes yard in terms of a 3-run bomb. And then in the 9th, he'd do it again. 3 hits, 2 home runs, and 4 RBI from him. Brewers win their 5th straight, 6-2 the final. And Wisconsin men's basketball has added another Big East opponent to their non-conference schedule. On December 19th, Greg Gard and company will face Villanova at Pfizer Forum, and then the following year, the two will meet at the Wells Fargo Arena in Philly. Remember, the last time these two teams met was 2017 in the second round of the NCAA tournament when the Badgers knocked off the #1 seed to punch their ticket to the Sweet 16. And that's it for Morning Sports. Have a great day.
Thank you, Zach. And still ahead on Weekend Mornings, gold may be leaking from the Earth's core. Plus, here's a look at what's to come later today. A new study is suggesting the Earth is leaking out gold. The study's author says gold and other precious metals are leaking from the Earth's core into the layers above, eventually making their way up to the surface during the formation of volcanic islands such as Hawaii. Experts conducted a 3-year analysis of Hawaii's basaltic rocks and found clues in the form of heavy metals found in the volcanic rocks. But this study suggests that at least a tiny amount of that gold has escaped to the surface, raising the prospect that if the leaking continues, more and more of this precious metal could travel from the center of the Earth to the crust in the future. All right, Jacob, let's get a final check of the forecast.
Yeah, the next couple of days, we're going to see plenty of sunshine with those temperatures warming up. Today, highs will be in the middle to lower 70s, maybe upper 70s for places to the west, then upper 70s to lower 80s tomorrow. Monday, upper 80s to lower 90s, and then we're going to see that rain on Tuesday, especially later in the day, and that will cool things down afterwards, but we're still going to see very comfortable temperatures as highs will be in the middle 70s for the middle and end of next week.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you all for watching. Our next newscast here on WISC-TV is at 10 o'clock. We'll see you then. Thank you.